In case any of you are wondering, today is Brian Jones's birthday. Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones.
Yes, I heard that on the radio.
She did. It's Friday.
I'm gonna explain my hair.
You're gonna explain yourself?
So when I was 6, I went with my grandmother to the hairdresser when she was getting a perm, and the lady wanted to put some pink in my hair, and I was like, but then I was told no. And then Gwen Stefani dyed her hair pink, and I was told no. And then I stopped thinking about it, and then I'm a grown-up and I have pink hair temporarily.
I think in terms of color palette, it suits her excellently. I never would have thought, because she's actually sort of a more rosy complexion person. She doesn't, despite the Italian heritage, she doesn't really have that sort of olivey kind of look to her. So she has sort of a healthy skin tone, and the pink actually brings that out, which I think is it's very nice. And she was wearing the pink Casa Bonita hoodie the other night, and
it's the same color.
And it all accented it all together. Anyway, it's Friday. I'm legitimately forgetting that it's Friday. It doesn't feel like Friday. I had to remind myself several times that we needed to make a video.
When I woke up, I was like, Saturday. And then I was like, oh no, my alarm's gonna go off.
Yeah. Anyway, so it is actually a Friday. You know, maybe who's throwing me off? What's blown my week is driving green bean around, because that's a weekend thing.
Ooh.
Anyway, I don't know if any of you saw, I put up a little video that I'm working more on green bean and getting some more things going, and just trying to, upgrade her from, the hack job, the semi-hack job that I pulled in order to get her ready for her safety inspection. It's go back through and really make sure that everything is right and check it out. And I'm serious about maybe doing that. What I talked about in the video.
I wasn't there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Meaning that there are 2 rubber shock mounts that hold up the transmission to the body, and they're for vibrating, isolation of the vibrating thing. And so hers they look original, and they're completely rotten. They're just this mush. You can do that from the underside. It's not that bad. You just take off the crossbar. But I'm also getting an oil leak from directly underneath the bell housing, which means that I could potentially be having a leaking main seal or whatever the equivalent seal is in the transmission. I'm just not sure. And so I was like, well, and I also have to re-bolt and tighten down everything on the drive shaft. I could just pull the damn engine and transmission all in once, check all that stuff, and then put it back.
But your engine holder is holding an engine currently.
That's true.
It was hard to push yesterday.
God, I'm amazed. That thing scares the hell out of me. It's one of the reasons I haven't been doing anything with it. Anyway, let's talk about the watches that we're wearing. How about that?
Okay.
There's Sabrina's watch. She's wearing, this is her 6105 8009, and it has a service crown, but it's otherwise it's all original to itself. It's a birth year month watch for me. It's cool, and it's got this, you can't really see it. The bezel is this kind of charcoaly blue color.
That's why I liked it.
Yeah, it's really nice. And I am wearing my poor man's Hoyer. I love this thing. What a beautiful, clean design. That's the original bracelet and everything. It just is so nice. It works so well together. I mean, that's the original clasp. This is the original watch. I put a new crystal in it and, of course, serviced it. But I love it. It's such a fantastic design. I just can't say enough good things about this watch. I just love it so much. She just said, smart cars are like the iPod of cars.
Well, one just drove by and they're like early 2000s, and like, I don't know. I don't even know if they make them anymore.
I don't know. I remember the first time we saw them, because when me and my buddies went to Germany in the years before you, and we were there the very first year that the smart cars came out, and they were only in Europe at that time. And I was just entranced. I would have loved to have driven one. I adore tiny, absurd cars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they still make them.
I don't know.
Okay, what?
I didn't know if I heard the dog.
I don't hear him.
I thought I heard him crying. Phantom dogs. Okay. From mail call. What?
Sorry, you said phantom dogs, and then I remembered the time when Pongo, our old dachshund, he apparently, something had gone wrong, and he slept in the room with us, and he had to drop one. He absolutely had to, and it was,
He can still smell it, and
I
Pongo's
can
been dead for
still smell
6
it.
years.
I can still smell it. Oh my God. Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. It woke me up out of a dead sleep, out of a dream. That's how bad it smelled. It was unbelievable. And Pongo was such a smart dog. He was like a person in a dog body. He was really, really smart. And he had the sense to look a little embarrassed about the situation, but he also looked at me like, well, you should have gotten up first.
Oh, well. Anyway, Patrick9170. Hi, Spencer. Thank you for showing that Russian clock. It looks super well made. I need to learn more about them.
They're cool. You can still get them. Like, you can order them online. And it's really neat because that whole big bezel thing is aluminum. It's all machined aluminum. And on the back, it actually had bolt holes that would have been for bolting the thing right to the bulkhead of a submarine, but you can't use them by themselves, and so the backs were ground away and adapted for a lock and slide in that black plastic round thing. So it locks on that, and then you hang that thing from the wall. But yeah, they're super cool. I'm very, very impressed. The movements are very, very nice quality, and they keep great time. And you can dial them into real tight accuracies. And they have a good power reserve. How long does it go for?
Oh, goodness. Almost a week?
Pretty good.
Crolla 1023. With regard to servicing, I totally understand your need to throttle service requests. It's what any reasonable craftsman should do. 6 years ago, I emailed you about servicing my late father's 6138, and I have a couple of 6139s waiting in the wings. I signed up for the newsletter, which I believe at the time got a lottery slot for service, which never happened. See, the thing with us is that we get really good ideas, and then we don't do them.
Or we get an idea that works and it's good enough, and then we just kind of stick there. I myself, what I would prefer, rather than doing, I really don't like saying, putting up 6 things and then hitting the list. I just feel terrible for all the people that are getting that notification and the slots are already sold. They sold out in a couple minutes. I'm not saying that like, hey, I'm great. I'm saying that, it's all the vast majority of people are they're gonna get an email that they can't follow up on.
Well, maybe you should send out a newsletter. Don't depend on me. I won't do it.
No, I'm not. What I really want to do is I want to have an actual wait list. Like, that's what I want.
But when you had a wait list, it was like, oh my God.
No, that was for jobs in house. I'm talking about have a feature on the website that is literally these people who are signing up for the newsletter, whatever the heck it is they're being forced to do, is actually have an actual customer data sheet for a sign up, and then I get 3 slots. I can go customer A, B, and C, 1, 2, 3, whatever, and I can email them and I can say, hey, if you still want to get your watch serviced, you need to buy this.
There's probably some way to do it.
Yeah, you need to buy this thing and then make the slot available for them, and then I could just go down the line and it would make me a lot happier.
We use Squarespace. If somebody knows how to do that basically, if you can make my life a little easier by saying this is how you do it, then cool. Otherwise, I'll spend a day looking.
Yeah, Squarespace is made to be dumb, I think, but it's been overdumbed in some ways.
Yes, and I have to Google where is blank because there's so many tabs, and I can't figure out where to send out the mailing things. I had to literally Google where is the wait list.
Yeah, and it's like in a heading, under a subheading, under a subheading. You had to go like 3 levels down.
Yes.
In order to get that. But I don't know. It's really something. I mean, it bothers me when I have to hit that notify all button, because I know that there's so many people that are going to be like, yes, and then it's already gone.
Well, he asked, what exactly does one have to do to get into the queue? And I'm like, well, we're working on it.
Right now, we're all brainstorming it all together. Mm-hmm. We're going to figure
That means
it out.
you guys are brainstorming too, because
We're
brain is not storming right now.
No, it's true. Yeah, so yeah, we're in a big old brainstorm session here, how to make that happen, because I think that would be the best way, and it would be, especially if it had transparency where the customer could actually say, hey, I'm 4 jobs back in line, hey, I'm 9 jobs back in line, and have an idea and a sense of moving up, rather than just, hoping, every day that they're going to get an email from me.
Yeah, but when does it come up that they have to pay a down payment? Because we're not just going to start taking watches again.
No. Well, my thing would be is that, somebody's slot comes up, they come to number 1 on the list. I write them, do you want to have yourself serviced? Oh, yes, I do. Okay, great. You need to purchase this item. And I put it up. I don't tell anybody. That person purchases it. And then that's their $500 deposit on the job. Their watch comes to me. I do the rest of the work, bill for the balance.
That's a good idea.
And then that's the way that it should go.
Okay, well, we will look at the website, but not now. XYZ chain 4199. Glad I made an appearance twice in the vid, as someone said.
Sorry about that. That was my fault. Cutting and pasting.
Gonna have to ask again, and I know it's not Seiko related. Would you think a 7000 series Citizen Highbeat 28800 hairspring will interchange with an 8110 8100 hairspring? Personally, I see no reason why it wouldn't, but I am a bit skeptical. Also, the reason why I'm asking is because I don't want to pay $150 for a balance hairspring where I could get the same hairspring for $25.
Honestly, pardon me, there's nothing to it but to do it, man. You've got to pull the hairspring on the original, and do the trick where you get like a piece of glass, like out of a picture or something else like this, and you put that clear tape on it, the matte finish tape, and then you can really see the hairspring. Get that hairspring, put it there, get the hairspring off the other one, and do a direct comparison. That's the only way I can think of, barring, of course, looking up the data sheets. But I've found for Citizen, there is so little documentation online for Citizen. I've never really been able to find anything. The parts database at Jules Burrell might see if the balances interchange, but they'll probably say they don't interchange, even if the hairspring was the same, if the staff was different or something else like that. But I don't know. That direct comparison, I think, unless you can find that data.
Someone's grilling.
Yeah, I just started smelling that. Somebody's in the middle of the day and they're like, it's Friday. I'm gonna throw something on the grill. It's a sunny day. Mm-hmm. It's nice.
Bruce Barlow 6604, the Seiko 2-piece stems are really not a great design. The spring rusts and can break. The little washer usually gets lost, and the male post can easily shear off in the crown. Great idea to freshen up the tube threads. We'll give this a try. Can't use full gloves down under. New Zealand, it gets too hot and hands get sweaty. 31 degrees Celsius today. Great swimming weather. I looked it up.
Yes.
I translated it.
And
it would be 88 in freedom units.
Yeah, that's cooking along on a pretty standard Colorado summer day. They seem to be hiding around on this. Of course, it's summertime, in which case it's the 90s apparently now. Like last summer, that was just fantastic. Yeah, the design it's a great design, as long as it's not asked to undergo stresses it wasn't designed for, any kind of lateral shearing movement, and that the that the stem materials, the crown stems, are made of quite brittle steel, and you could just snap the damn things off, and the threads are left in the head, and there isn't a thing you can do about it. Nothing. I think the much better way that they do it now, like the 7002s and up did it, which is the internally telescoping one-piece crown stem. I mean, it means you can't replace individual pieces, but if you don't have to worry, it's just, I think it's a better idea.
You said one piece.
Okay, I know Willow watches one piece.
I know, that's why you said that, and I was like, somewhere with whatever class she's in, she just jumped.
She jumped because we said one piece?
Yes. For RF, Seiko 6119, 7160, 70 meter sport, and Lejour Valjoux 7750. Buffalo J. Spencer, how much would a new movement cost?
Oh, okay. So you had two. That video was about two different models. One was a 6119 and the other was a 7750 Valjoux. Which, well, I mean, the 6119, I could price those out from my stocks here. It would depend on what subvariant you're looking for and that kind of stuff. I don't really sell parts that often, but I have a lot of 6119s. So I could, you know, potentially, I mean, like loose movements. I buy all this stuff from, you know, watchmakers' estates and stuff like this, and you see so many of these, you know, loose, stripped out movements. I would almost suggest, in that case, not buying a loose movement, because if a movement is outside of a watch, there's a reason, and also it's not being protected anymore. If you really need a 6119 movement, look for a 6119 watch on eBay that's gold-plated, with a gold-plated case, because they started looking pretty ratty fairly quickly. And so they would stop being worn more sooner. So they had actually less wrist time by virtue of not looking as nice. So a lot of times I'll get a gold case, plated case watch. And if you look under the glass and you see that beautiful white clean lume and, you know, clean printing, clean reflective surfaces, that movement's going to be in great shape. And there's no way to make the plating on those better. It just isn't. And you can, I don't have any compunction whatsoever harvesting a movement from a badly worn plated case. As for a 7750, those can be bought new. And I think they're like 300 and something.
Oh.
I haven't priced them for years. There's the answer.
Okay. The Seiko 6309 7040, all three variants. Mark Lafferty 6416. I have a question about the crown. Mine won't screw down anymore. Is this fixable? My watch is from February 1981 and has lots of nice patina going on. Thanks for any answers or advice you can offer.
Oh, I put this question up because it's a new question, but I swear it's a new question because I didn't mark it, but I do have a video I just made. No, it was last week's mail call.
I don't remember reading that.
You don't remember reading it?
I don't think so.
In last week's mail call, there's a segment where I specifically talk about clearing the threads on a 6309 crown and a tool that I made out of a 6309 crown. I modified the screw down ring so it could use it and do a reverse thread clearing action on it. That's one possibility. If the threads are really just gone, baby, gone, there is, I understand it.
Dachshunds.
You can buy replacement tubes on eBay. And so the original tube would simply need to be machined out, the correct one pressed in to the right hole, and then Seiko electrically welded them together. But you could probably solder it and get away with it.
One time we walked by those dachshunds and they tried to eat Rocket.
Really?
Yes.
Well, he deserved it. He knows what they did.
Yes. Seiko 101 building the mainspring. Shane Jones 7331, thanks for sharing, Spencer. I have the Bergeron set and I have just had no luck with the Seiko springs. I have tried using the blue number 6 and number 7 winders with zero luck. I take my time, and every time taking the arbor from the winder off the spring, it gets all twisted up on the arbor and ruins the spring. Sometimes I get the spring all the way down the arbor and the spring gets tangled up.
The key thing that I find, there's two things that I do that are really important. When I'm gonna get ready to move the winder part with that arbor on it, I use an X-Acto knife because it's one of my tools that I use. I started using it because I grew up making models, and it's not a watchmaker's sidekick, but I use mine for that. It has a nice flat surface, and I hold that. I make sure that when I'm separating that I have the X-Acto blade in there, keeping the entire mainspring in the same plane. And then when I'm removing it, I don't just pull it out. I'm not saying you do, but I don't pull it out. I turn it opposite the direction you use to wind it the first place. And what this does is that lets you can basically spin the pin out. And it just gives up like right away. And then, so you're holding the thing flat and you're just going the opposite direction from however direction it was that you wound the mainspring. Those are the only things I can think of, because if what you're talking about is when you're pulling it out, you're pulling out the collet part. It's not the collet, whatever the end of that is. And it's letting go. So either do those two things and it should work. But let me know.
Michael Fonseca 7657. Good day, Spencer. I'm aware that is a mainspring winder, but would you call that an adjustable mainspring winder, or what would be the correct term, and are they still available?
There's so much. I don't know. One of the great things about getting into watch repair and stuff these days is there's so much stuff on eBay. If you look for, Watchmaker Estate or Watchmaker Lot, there are so many tools, tons and tons and tons of tools on eBay. And so, yes, I would call them adjustable. I wish I remember who the maker was. They're very good. You got to make sure that I used to have one just like it, but the little fixing pin had worn away to the point that it was gone. I hope I kept it, because with the tools that I have now, I could fix that. I can just drive another pin in, just drill out a hole and drive in a new pin. I'll have to look, but that's what I would do. Just check eBay. Believe me, you'll find stuff.
Saved from the garbage for AH Seiko 75487,000. Nick Halverson 5330. Can the click ball on these be removed? I'd like to experiment with making the bezel friction only, but I can't get the ball out.
Okay, the only way that you would be able to do that is you would have to drill the ball free from the face. So, because the ball has a spring underneath it, and it should compress enough to allow a bit to come in there. Because how those are assembled is it's a hole is drilled, spring goes into the hole, ball goes on top of the spring, and if it was just by itself, it would be standing proud of the case. So what they do then is they do a ring crimp around that hole to bring all the inner surfaces like this inwards, trapping the ball bearing. So the ball bearing is there sticking proud of the surface of the case. So you would need to have a really good, probably even more than trying to drill it out, because the chances of something going wrong in the drill bit will just run across the edge of the case. It's just something like that. It'll happen in a microsecond and you won't be able to stop it.
How do you know?
Terrible, 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 terrible experience. Personal experience from so long ago. Am I blushing?
A little.
I just remembered the feeling of doing that. It wasn't someone's watch, but I was having problems with the click ball and it was rusted, and I was trying to get it out, and of a 6309 diver, and it went and it just went sideways right across the brushing, and the brushing was really good in that watch. And it wasn't honestly that bad. It wasn't, but it's all I could see. I'm still mortified about it. You could potentially do it with a Zeitz reaming set. You get a very, they make the sizes of the bits very small, and you control the speed and everything, and it's held perfectly vertical. The only thing is, I don't know how you would have to have the case held by, have a holder for the case to keep it nice and flat, and then go in there and just slowly relieve the inside edge of that hole just a hair, so that you can get the ball to pop out.
That's it. I'm thinking about weightless things, so I want to say goodbye and look at your computer. Or my computer.
Yeah. Okay,
computer.
got you. I understand. All right, well, that's cool. Then I guess, folks, thank you for your questions, and we will see you next week. Okay, bye.
Bye.